Hi, Erica. How are you?
Hey, Emma, good. How are you this evening? Because it is
I'm
evening.
fine. Well, 4 o'clock, not
Yeah,
quite evening yet, but it has been dark outside for about an hour now. So,
the worst.
yes, English British winter is upon us, unfortunately.
It is 11 a.m. on the East Coast. I don't know if we have any attendees yet, so we're just going to chat for a little bit, wait for everybody to hop on here. It's 11 a.m. now, and we'll get started in a few moments.
Yeah, sounds good.
For more people to join. Emma, did you have a productive day today?
I did actually. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. It's been a good day so far. Looking forward to doing this webinar and hopefully getting some good questions and chatting with people on here as well.
Yes, definitely. Maybe let's give like another minute or so and we can just pause and relax.
What time is it there with you? 11.
11, yes. Yes.
Did you do a workout today to relax?
I have not yet. So when I have meetings in the morning, I prep myself, have like leisurely mornings, and so I'll save the workout for this evening. Depending on how this goes. No, I'm teasing.
It's either a workout or wine.
Yeah, workout or wine. Workout or wine. Okay. Shall we get started, do you think?
Give it a couple more minutes. It's only just gone 4 here, so
I'm very eager over here.
I know.
I'd like to get
That's
started.
good.
Yes.
That's a good thing. Can't wait for people to learn about the Marketing Legal Toolkit.
Emma, and you're currently under stay-at-home orders already in London, correct?
Yes. So we are in lockdown version 2, but it's not as restricted this time around. So the nurseries are still open, schools are still open. It's just like restaurants and things that are closed. So it's not being as severe this time, thank goodness, because trying to work with children at home is not ideal.
Lockdown version 2, that's a great name for it. Philadelphia and Chicago, and I don't know, others are already shutting down.
Though, I think today they announced that they are going to allow, I think, up to 4 households to mix indoors over Christmas if everything carries on going the way it is. So that's very positive.
I not hear that at all. So it's interesting it'll be interesting to see how everything pans out. I'll just be having Thanksgiving with my immediate family and my house.
Yeah.
And that's it. No Christmas plans yet. I think we're going to see how everything goes during Thanksgiving and just take it. So no Christmas anything.
It's hard, isn't it? A very weird year 2020 has been. Okay, so let's get started now. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Marketing Legal Toolkit webinar. We're going to start off just by introducing ourselves and then go through some slides for you. So my name's Emma Markey and I'm a business development manager at Redmarker. I look after the UK and Europe, and I've worked in legal and financial technology for past 6 or 7 years now. So helping some of the world's largest banks and organizations adopt, implement and master technology that ultimately make their lives easier. Outside of work, I enjoy seeing friends and family, or did pre-pandemic when we were allowed to do so. Hopefully that day will come again soon. And I also have twin 2-year-old boys who monopolize a lot of my time, obviously.
They're very cute, I might add. I've only seen them on Instagram. I haven't met them in person. So hi, everyone. I'm Erica. I, too, am a business development manager at Redmarker. And similar to what Emma said, just helping organizations streamline and expedite their marketing compliance review process. The best part of my job is that no 2 meetings are the same. And this is especially helpful now because every day feels like Groundhog's Day due to COVID-19. And I'm sure you can all appreciate that. And hopefully you're all laughing with me behind your computers. Outside of work, I really enjoy being outside and I love to shop. And thanks to the pandemic, I've really gotten into at-home workout videos because I have not stepped foot in a gym since maybe late February of the beginning of 2020. So anyways, now that you've met Emma and I, we're just going to hop into our webinar agenda just to give you a little bit of a rundown how the next 20 to 30 minutes are going to go. So what we're going to go through today are why do you need a toolkit? Why are we even here? And we're going to hop into understanding your process, streamlining your workflow, and then we'll pull up RedMarker and we'll do a quick little demonstration. And then lastly, we'll end with a Q&A and you'll be able to ask Emma and I anything that's on your mind.
Sounds good.
Amazing. So why do you need a legal toolkit? Why are we here? This is what we're talking about. So what we typically see with our clients and organizations that we're currently meeting with are that three things are occurring. And those are, there's an increased amount of pressure to do more with less. Legal teams are trying to keep up with marketing's volume. And regardless of which side of the fence you're on, whether you have a legal toolkit or something in place or not, everyone at the end of the day, I think, is trying to reduce the time, cost, and effort of their marketing review process. So the benefits of having a legal toolkit is everyone in the business knows what is expected and there's full transparency across all team members. And this will have an immediate impact on your turnaround time and your first line of review if everyone is abiding by the same guidelines. So understanding your process, there should be 4 clear points in your review process. And so the first is producing content. Who is producing your content? Is it marketing? Is it financial services? Is it sales? Our business development representatives creating their own content, because content can come from different people, with different agendas within the business. If you're having multiple sources, do all of these individuals know the risk appetite of your company? And is there a clear message? So there should always be a consistent process with whoever is creating your content within your organization. And now limitations on content. Then we're moving to this side of things. Do certain product lines have different rules from one another? And if so, does a content creator know this? Do you have state or country level rules? This would be a limitation, and therefore you need to have this in writing in a legal toolkit, for example. And lastly, have you effectively communicated these limitations across team members, depending on who is creating your content? And then we're sliding to delivering content, so this is all coming back to the legal toolkit we're referring to. So once you're finished producing your content, do you have a workflow? A majority of the organizations we currently meet with do not. And this is how things get lost. Another scenario we see as, disconnected systems, or there's no streamlined process when it comes to the marketing to legal handover. And this will, inevitably create issues. And so lastly, reviewing content. So while you're in the process of creating the content, do these individuals know what they can and cannot say once they're then reviewing it? So this is a good question to ask yourself while you're reviewing the content that you're creating. Yeah. And just a closing thought I have, ask yourself and think about where you are today compared to where you would like to be, and ask yourself these 4 points, because if and when you do, this will be able, to help you determine if there are any disconnects or anomalies in your process. We've collected some data over the past 19 months, and it has showed that if you do have a tool that can pick up on your legal guides, it's around 30 times faster than manual review. So I'll repeat that. If you have a tool that can pick up on your risk appetite and legal guides, it is 30 times faster automatically than manual review. So to touch on disclaimers, our Chief Product Officer, Mark Collins, conducted an additional study and concluded that slightly over 50% of marketing checklists are disclaimers. So food for thought, think of how easily disclaimers can be standardized. And I'd now like to pose a question to everyone who's attending. How do you think you can standardize your disclaimers? So whether they're in your head or on a sheet of paper or in a binder, think of how easy it would be to have a machine trigger your disclaimers for you. And RedMarker can do just that, which we will show you shortly. And another suggestion is use data. A large percentage of marketing legal teams are not using big data at the moment. And this ends up being a direct correlation to then not understanding your processes. And if you don't understand your processes, you don't know where to start and you can't fix it. And so ultimately, the lack of data you have as an organization definitely creates a big gap in efficiency and slows down the entire process, which I'm sure you can imagine, or hopefully you're not experiencing that. We don't know. Meet with Emma and I, and we'll help you. And so this will be my last slide before I hand off to Emma. And I'm just going to quickly kind of get into a story, and then Emma's going to finish it. And we're going to discuss streamlining your workflow and identifying bottlenecks in your current marketing compliance review process. So the first question that Emma and I like to ask our clients and organizations we're meeting with is, where are the speed bumps in your marketing review process? So think about whatever process you have in place right now, whatever it is that you're doing, and simply ask yourself, are there certain points in this process that you just know are going to go wrong because past experience has taught you, this is what happens and you know to expect it, and it's an annoyance and you've just learned to live with it. So Emma has a story actually, and she's going to kind of divulge a little bit further.
Yeah, so thanks, Erica. Just on that, I was talking with a marketing manager recently, and she quite rightly said that at the moment she feels under a lot of pressure to get a vast amount of content pushed out as quickly as possible. And she admitted that at times she could feel a little bit frustrated that some of the material her team had created keeps getting pushed back, sometimes multiple times from the legal compliance department. This obviously slows down the marketing production to publication process, which in an ever-moving and data-hungry society is not ideal. But on the flip side of that, it's always two sides to every story, I was talking to the head of legal at the same company, and his grievance was that his team seemed to be spending more and more time on the laborious and painstaking, now they are his words, not mine, task of reviewing every single piece of marketing material the company created. And it was leaving less and less time for more valuable activities that his team needed to undertake. So they not only had to review the public-facing marketing material, but also a large number of internal documents as well. Since COVID-19, the majority of their staff are working remotely, as we are, and I think the majority of people are. And what had once been a face-to-face meeting or a quick chat around a water cooler was now a 100-page slide deck that needed checking before it got circulated. And that was quite an interesting point to me, because I'd never really thought about the impact of COVID-19 from that side before. So even just things like that, we can help with. So whatever you think is slowing your process down, your marketing to legal turnaround down, is it something that having a legal toolkit could help with? Would it help bridge the gap between the marketing team and the legal team and alleviate both the pain points in one go?
Absolutely.
So on the next slide, we'll look at the journey to efficiency. We can see on the left the current process of ad hoc. Now, this is the lowest and riskiest level. There is no legal checklist in place. The current system is probably just in somebody's head, and people in the company have different takes on what's acceptable and what's not. One of the things I actually hear from clients who currently adopt this approach is that taking the time to compile a definitive legal checklist or toolkit would be a little time consuming. Well, yes, it would, and time is everything these days, as we mentioned before, but think about how many hours in a month are spent by the legal team poring over marketing material that gets sent back to marketing, and then how many hours are spent by the marketing team amending the document to meet those legal compliance requirements. It quickly adds up to a lot. So in my experience, creating a legal toolkit is a little short-term pain for a long-term gain. In the middle of the slide, we can see the process is repeatable. So, okay, you have some kind of system in place. There are siloed processes for each product, some of it standardized and some very cumbersome, and like the ad hoc approach, potentially risky and inefficient. If I was a teacher, I would probably say, could try harder. The third process is managed, and this is the second to best process. So you have clear standardization and metrics, Brilliant. You know how content should be created, how it should be delivered, and how it's going to be marked up. Fantastic. But the only thing left to do now is become early adopters of a transformative solution and invest in technology. So on the next slide, on the last slide, sorry, we've looked at some of the different processes. Now let's take it up to the next level of efficiency and ensure compliance without having to increase headcount or take the risk-based approach of not checking every single piece of marketing material that comes through. And some of my clients that will remain nameless do sometimes go down that road, unfortunately. Now, there are many reasons clients choose RedMarker. Some want to streamline their current manual process to increase productivity across the team, to increase efficiency. Some have the right headcount, but there's still an issue with the turnaround time somehow. Others want to standardize their workflow. And for a lot of our clients in the heavily regulated financial sector, the penalty for being found to be non-compliant can have devastating results, not just financially, although that would be a big hit, but also for their brand as well. So let's have a look now at the demonstration and see how RedMarker can help you. Thanks, Erica.
Yeah. So now we're going to hop into a quick demonstration of RedMarker. This is what it looks like when you first open it up, and you can log in anywhere in the world as long as you have your username and password. And once you're logged in, you're presented with a list of your previous uploaded content or that uploaded by your team. So it's very clear, it's very user-friendly. So on the left-hand side, you have your content. And in the middle, you have your owner. So this would be the person who uploaded the content. And then on the right, you have your actions. So again, it's extremely clear to use. So in this example, you and I will be the experts here reviewing a piece of content. So now let's upload a document. So I'm sure this feels very familiar, like Dropbox, etc. So all you need to do is select a file, from your computer or desktop, same thing. And so for today, we're going to click bank credit. You'll see a preview screen of the piece you just uploaded. And then on the left-hand side, you can actually categorize the materials that you're uploading. So for today's purposes, I'm selecting credit cards, and then I'm just going to select review document. So as the document's uploading, it's doing a few things here. So first, it's reading the document, and it's performing document extraction and optical character recognition, or OCR, buzzword of 2020, on the content. And so this is allowing the platform to interpret both text on the page as well as text and images, and even in the content of the images themselves. So in this page, we can see the list of requirements with elements that have failed to meet the compliance threshold. And this effectively serves up as a list of elements for the expert reviewer, so they can focus their time and judgment and confirm a pass-fail, which you can see I'm highlighting at right now. And failed means that the platform has identified something in the document, and either the presence or absence of something which results in the content failing to meet the standard we, RedMarker, have built for you into the requirements. And it's been highlighted, as you can see, on the right-hand side as well. So it's highlighting and annotating for you why the language is considered risky, and or inconsistent with your digital requirements. So you can see in this first requirement, the rule has failed, and it's flagged because the message we were using had the word low in it, and it must reflect the cash advance rate is higher. So what you can do is type in your canned feedback. So I'm just typing in remove lowest and replace with another adjective. So again, this is a very straightforward example of what the platform can identify for us. Other requirements here include some of the more nuanced and complex features of risk identification technology. And it's important to note there are some things machines are really good at, and there are some things that people are really good at. And the platform is really good at identifying elements of risk based on the presence and absence of content. And it's performing an assessment against complex decision trees of logic. And that then presents for the expert. So again, this is ultimately freeing time up on the expert reviewer's time, again, to use their expert judgment and exercise discretion. The robots are not coming for your job. This will not take anybody's job, actually, for that matter. You absolutely still, need everybody working.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pop back into our slideshow real quick.
Thanks, Erica. Thank you for that. That was great. I hope everybody found that useful. So I know we looked at a financial example there, but we work with lots more sectors as well.
Yes, and so Emma's going to touch on that right now.
Yeah, so we look at things like financial sector, obviously, insurance, gambling. We work with energy companies, and they're to name but a few. Really, Red Marker is a great solution for any regulated industry with marketing content going out to clients or even just internally. At Red Marker, we constantly invest in our product as well to carry on bringing new innovations and technologies to help support the increased marketing compliance requirements, especially during the current pandemic. We work with clients from across the globe with different risk appetites, sometimes dependent on country, depending on industry, business pressures, and lots of other variables as well. We also understand that it's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to compliance, which is why we work with people in a consultative manner, so we can ensure that the AI technology we provide perfectly suits their requirements, their expectations, and their regulations.
Absolutely.
So on the next slide, the number one feedback we get is on the content creator side. First line review, first line defense. Why wouldn't want you to pass something through Red Marker first, get the low hanging fruit out of the way?
Yeah, absolutely, Emma. I totally agree. That's more likely or not the first question, at least that I get when I, have a meeting with one of my clients is, well, why should we use Red Marker? Well, what is it going to do for us? Exactly. It's to definitely get the low hanging fruit, out of the way. And it's not just the financial services industry, as Emma just had mentioned, any industry that's heavily regulated, we can assist with. And when you adopt technology to assist in your processes, I think at the end of the day, it's definitely worth it.
It is. And it always gets me as well when we say it's up to 30 times faster. So think what you can do with that time that you are then given back, what you can spend that on. It really is worthwhile.
Absolutely. And to touch on another point that I had mentioned during the quick demonstration, this is not taking anybody's job. One, marketing's paid to be creative. And two, you're still going to need a gut check and an expert reviewer to have, the once over, and artificial intelligence is just nowhere near, that capability.
Yeah, you still need people there to do the sanity check, to pass judgment on it. It's getting them to the same compliant destination, just a heck of a lot quicker, which is what it's all about. It's about being efficient.
And Emma, I don't know how many clients that you've met with have said this to you, but I've had a lot, that have just said, I know my checklist, it's in my head, it's there.
Yeah.
And a question I always like to pose back is, okay, well, what if one day you decide to up and leave the company? And not only that, but to their boss, if they leave, then what are you doing? Or God forbid, one day they just don't show up to work.
They win the lottery and go live on a beach somewhere.
My mind, I'm a worrywart, so it goes worst case scenario. But seriously, that immediately presents business continuity risk, because then you have somebody walking around with your legal checklist in their head, and you're left at square one. As a business. So I'm just going to move to this slide real quick. So this is one of our clients, and they made this quote for us, which was really sweet. And they had said, that Red Marker can effectively automate all the stuff that is boring. And then that leads to an improvement in both the work that the person is doing and the outcome for the customer. And then this was from Nigel Bond at Westpac Banking Corporation.
Okay, thank you, Nigel.
Yeah.
So on the next slide, we'll look at how to streamline your review. So now you've seen Red Marker, heard about some of the benefits, it probably be a good time to go over the implementation process. So it starts with the creators. Are the content creators going to be responsible for first line review? If they are, do they have all the tools they need at their disposal to do this and work efficiently? Then you've got delivery. Is there a standardized method of delivery in place? Or do some people send content through on email? Some people use a workflow. What's your process, and could it potentially be better? In my experience, having different ways of actually getting content to be reviewed is quite a risky strategy, because things can easily get lost in email or somewhere down the line. things do fall through the cracks, unfortunately. So the checklist. So this is what we've been discussing during the webinar, and it's a really great place to start to get a checklist in place, a legal toolkit. Does your company have one? If they do, brilliant. But do you know who's responsible for that? Who takes ownership of it? Who keeps it up to date? And in order to be more efficient, it is imperative that people across departments are aware of the compliance guidelines. They're aware of where that toolkit is, how to access it, and if any changes have been made to it. So regulations change so quickly these days. Something that may have been compliant 6 months ago may not be now. So has that been updated, and who owns that? So then technology, something like Red Marker, introducing technology into your business to ensure compliance will take the pressure off both the legal and marketing departments. Many companies that I speak with, and I'm sure Erica will agree, have the same questions surrounding AI platforms and technology in their marketplace. We've all read the cautionary tales of intelligent machines replacing humans. But in truth, adopting this kind of technology will only help you at the end of the day. You're not going to be replaced by algorithms. And then we move on to monitoring. So use performance data to address risk on a larger scale. We keep in close contact with clients to ensure the rules are in place are correct. So meaning if certain rules keep triggering as failed continually and repeatedly, should we look at changing that, of broadening it out slightly? Or is this an internal issue that needs addressing? Red Marker is constantly evolving to your way of working, which is one of the great things and unique things about it.
Yeah, and we work alongside of you.
Yes, yeah. So now the question side of things. If you haven't asked a question already in the chat, but you want to email us or call us, then feel free. We'll put our details on at the end. We have, I think, had a few come through already.
Yep.
So does Red Marker integrate with workflows? Yes, we have an open API. So depending on your workflow provider, we can happily talk to them about that. So it can be integrated for you. Yes,
absolutely. So you have two instead of one. Yay. Okay, let's see. Second question. What type of AI is used? Great question. So Red Marker uses natural language processing and machine learning branches of AI. So we're, again, learning from your commentary, your usage. So it's not just, like Emma had previously said, like a one size fits all, which is really great.
And then where is the platform hosted? So we're hosted on Amazon Web Services in the country that you're located in.
Amazing. Yes. I don't know if we have any more questions. It looks like that's it at the moment. So if you do have any outstanding questions, feel free to email Emma or myself. Find us on LinkedIn, call us, email us, whatever, your preference.
Carrier pigeon.
Yeah, carrier pigeon. I would not be surprising because the year 2020 anyway. So
nothing surprises me this year anymore.
I would say cool. So thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about Red Marker and what we do and how we can help you. And if you just want to have, a quick conversation and not even see a demonstration, again, please feel free to reach out to Emma or myself. Thank you so much. Bye, Emma. I'll see you, I guess, tomorrow for one of our internal meetings.
Yes. See you then, Erica. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Amazing. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.